Good morning. Welcome to Workforce Skills with John Morris. Another day out here in Phoenix, Arizona. And man, it is getting, you can tell the holidays are here. I'm going to say something right now. I'm going to tell you guys, and this is going to kind of be the topic of the day. Slow the fuck down, period. There's a lot of traffic out there. There's people driving crazy. People are home from college. There's a lot of action happening out there. But I'm not just talking about slowing down out there in traffic and you're driving and where you're trying to get to. But let's take a look at this for our entire lives. Let's take a look at it in our work sense and our personal life sense. So when it comes to work, there's a lot of times at work, people you're rushing to get done everything. If there's one thing that I preach a lot to people in class and through the vocational program at work, it's quality over quantity. I want quality. I don't want the fastest painter. I don't want the fastest person out there cutting into lines, rolling the walls. I want perfection. I would rather have you go a little bit slower and do it perfect. I'm not looking for the fastest person out there. There's no need to be rushing through this and getting it done as fast as you can, because that's when mistakes happen. That's when we're not paying attention to what's happening. We're not paying attention to the quality or the job scope of what needs to be done. I had a situation here just recently with our estimators. They're having a problem with a bid that two separate estimators, they're bidding two different projects, but they're identical as far as the size. It's for a huge company, and their bids came in different. And I'm looking over every single bid right now. We're gearing up for the new year. I'm trying to get aggressive on pricing. I want to land as much work as possible for this next year. I want to blow us out of the water. And thinking about this after everybody was gone yesterday before going to class last night, I'm thinking about this. I'm mulling it over in my head, and I'm thinking there's something off between the two. And there was quite a bit off between the two. On the one job, the one estimator, he forgot all the columns and all the doors on this job. I mean, that's a difference of about $26,000 on this project that got missed. I'm tired of losing money on certain jobs. I'm tired of these mistakes. And that's why I'm telling you, slow down. You got to go over everything, go over every detail, make sure it's done right. I don't care if you're the fastest person out there, but if you're making a mistake on everything or you're causing more problems and we have to go back on stuff, to lose $24,000 on a job, that's difficult. That's a hard nut to accept right there. But let's think about it even as the painters out there. Now I got painters out there on a job that I'm already losing money on. Now we're trying to cut corners. We're trying to find ways to make it work, but we can't do that. We got to have perfection, but we're trying to push the job faster. Now there's going to be sloppiness. There's going to be drips. There's going to be mistakes. Someone's painting a wall and then they don't move their drop fast enough. Now we're taking more time to clean up paint off the floor. So the bottom line is you need to have quality over quantity. You know, it's when new people come into class and I teach them and we talk about this painting, I want you to do like a 10-foot section cutting in and time yourself from corner to corner, whatever that is, and see how long it takes you. And then the next section, try to speed it up a little bit. But if you start messing up, I want you to slow back down. Over time, you'll get faster and faster. You'll get better at the quality of what you're doing. In the beginning, when you do anything, you're not perfect at it. You're not good. It takes time. When you rode a bike for the very first time as a kid, you didn't just hop on there. You had training wheels on there. And then slowly, they eventually came off. So take the time to do it right. Think about everything you're doing. And that's no different than everybody driving out there right now for the holiday season. Slow down. Everybody's in a hurry to get nowhere fast. And there is, every time I look around, there's another accident happening. Out by me, I mean, it's like, there's an intersection. I swear, I follow the Facebook page on this because they're restructuring the roads out there and redoing things. I swear there's at least 1 to 2 accidents at this intersection every single day. I try to avoid it. I go a different direction every single time I got to go somewhere just to avoid that intersection because of it, because everybody's in a hurry. People are cutting people off. You're cutting somebody off and you're getting flipped off at the same time. Slow down. You don't know who's in a rush to get somewhere. You know, I remember years ago when I went through a situation with my son and I had to get him to the hospital and there was all these different things. And he went through a couple years with a situation and it was difficult. And here I am, I'm rushing to the hospital all the time. I'm trying to get there. And one day somebody cut me off and I got angry and I thought about this for a minute. I thought, wait a minute. I don't know if they're rushing to get to the hospital to see their kid. What if they're in the same situation that I am? Let's just all slow down. let's take a deep breath and step back and think about what we're trying to hurry to get to. I did it years ago. My wife was in an accident, and here I am. She calls me up. I'm flying down the freeway trying to get there. I got pulled over and got a ticket. I told the officer what happened. He goes, well, it's not going to help if you get in an accident too. And I thought about it, and he was right. There was no reason for me to rush there. There's no reason to rush anywhere to fast track anything in our lives. We got to take it one step at a time. We're in a hurry to get everything done. We're trying, and it goes also with the men and women coming out of prison or off the streets or through our program. There's too many people that try to make up for lost time, and you can't do that. And they're trying to rush the process. You can't rush the process of what you're learning, what you're trying to get through. You've just got to take it a step at a time, a day at a time. You know, I know in sobriety they say sometimes it's a day at a time or a minute at a time. You've got to take your time. You got to take each step as it comes, and don't rush it, because that's where you're going to make a mistake. That's where you're going to screw up. And right now with the demographic of who we work with, who I am, I'm a recovering addict. I've had my issues, but this is a time of year that we need to be careful. We need to slow down, because we get up in our heads, we start screwing ourselves up and overthinking everything and feeling like we got to hurry up and do things. I had this situation even just this morning at the gym with my trainer. I'm thinking about this situation at work. I'm thinking about these bids and the mistake, and now we got to resubmit these bids. And all of a sudden my trainer said, John, slow down. And I realized I was going too fast on my reps. Here I'm just pumping it out. I need to slow down. And he was right, because I wasn't thinking about it. I was thinking about everything else, and I'm rushing through this process. And you can't do that. When you rush the process, you're going to screw it up. Something's going to go wrong. I've got a guy that works for me, Barry, great guy. He's now in our estimating department. He's been with me for years. And I used to joke about it. He's got 2 speeds. Slow and stop. But the reality of it is I never, ever had to go back on his work. Everything he did was done to perfection. He made sure it was done right every single time. And that would be the expectation from every painter, every person that works for me. I would rather have it done right the first time, because when we have to go back and fix somebody's mistake, it costs us twice as much than if we would have done it right the first time and slowed down. That's the reality of this. It's when you speed up something and you mess it up, it takes 2, 3, 4 times the amount of time to fix it after the fact. So if you're taking your time and doing it right, the outcome, you can't mess it up at that point. Now, that's not to say if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to make mistakes. That happens. But at the same time, the way I looked at it when I was working out there in the field painting, especially when I was doing residential, the one thing I always realize is I'm going to make mistakes. But if I can fix them, if I can take care of my mistakes before the homeowner sees it, before anybody sees it, they walk in, everything looks perfect, I'm the best painter in the world. Even though I made a mistake, I fixed it, I caught it before anybody else. But it's interesting how many people nowadays, they'll make a mistake and they just brush it under the rug. They keep going, they keep moving forward. I don't care if you're on a job for me and you break something that costs $1, admit it, fess up to it, we're going to fix it, we're going to move forward. Don't hide it. Don't push it under the rug, because that just creates more issues, more problems down the road. Then someone's going to find it. And then it's, how does it make the company look? You have to be in a situation to where you're always thinking about what people are going to look at, what the end product is. What are they going to think about you as a painter? What are they going to think about the company you work for? As an employee, no matter who you work for, I don't care if you're a greeter at Walmart, you represent that company. You are that first impression. You have to do it right every single time. So do it right every time. Slow down and do it the right way. It's interesting, because I think we're always in a hurry to get nowhere fast. We're always rushing everything in our lives. If we would just slow down and take some time to smell the roses, to watch life go by, to experience things in a different light, in a different sense, I guess. I guess what I'm trying to say is, just if you look at things in a slower pace, you're going to see things completely different. I notice it once in a while when I'm typically always driving and my wife rides with me. But every once in a while, she'll be driving, and she does drive slower than me. But it's interesting when I'm riding with her, I just sit there and look out the window and I look at everything that's around me. And I see things that have been there for years and years that I'd never even noticed, because I'm taking the time, I'm slowing down. I'm taking the time to pay attention to my surroundings and what's around me. And I think we as a society, we as a whole, we want everything so fast, so quick that we don't slow down to appreciate the things we have around us. We don't appreciate the simple things. There's a, I forget what restaurant it is, but I want it my way right now. And I think it might be Burger King or something like that. Yeah, Burger King. And I think we've become a society where we want everything so quick, so fast, and we want to fix everything and have it done the right way. And it's really hard with, I focus on the demographic of the people I work with because of their background and because of the loss of time that they have with however many years that they've been locked up, or maybe, we might have somebody that hits the age of 40 and they've been in and out of jail, in and out of prison for how many years. And they feel like, okay, shit, I'm 40 years old. I got to start doing something. I got to make up. I got to do this faster. It doesn't work that way. That's when you're going to screw up. When you try to rush that process, that's where you're going to make a mistake. It's unfortunate, but just last week, I've lost 2 people in the company within a matter of days. And I don't know if it's because of the holidays, because of depression, or if life overwhelms them. And we got to slow down. But at the same time, you have to talk to somebody if you're going through a struggle or a problem. It's the issue with the estimating department where some of the stuff got missed. I sat down and talked with the estimator. I said, hey, I understand you're going through some stuff. I know you lost a family member recently. You're having problems. Let's sit down and talk about this. What's the real issue? What's going on? My door is always open to talk about these things. Let's slow down and talk about this and figure out where the problem is and where we need to correct this and fix this so we don't have this problem moving forward. Nobody wants to lose money. I mean, for a job that size, $24,000, that's a lot of money. That $24,000, that is the profit margin on that job for our company. That's the size of job this is. And so to lose that because you rush through something, that's crucial. Now, I tell you what, any other company, this person probably would have lost their job. They would have been pushed out the door and now they're looking for a job somewhere else. But I also, at the same time, I want us to learn from our mistakes. I want us to learn from our failures, and I want to grow from this. I want people to understand that you are going to make mistakes and you can fix it. You can learn from it and grow. And we don't have to constantly beat ourselves up. There's so much negativity happening. There's so much things that beat us down every day, or we screw ourselves up in our own head because we're feeling like we got to do it faster. We got to do it better. We got to catch up to everybody else. And that's not the case. I would rather land less work and know every single job that we bid is accurate than to pump out as many bids as we can, as fast as we can, and have mistakes on there where we're losing money on every single job. That doesn't make sense as a business owner, or anybody for that matter. You wouldn't do it in your personal lives. Why would you do it at work? And if you're doing it at work, it's going to make me question your personal life. What's happening with you in your personal life? What mistakes are you making in your personal life where you could be losing money, or you could be making the wrong decisions because you're rushing into a decision? How many times do we make an emotional decision or a decision based on our feelings versus logic and financial information? I don't want to make a decision in a business based on how I feel or how my emotions or what's going through my mind at that time. I want to make sure it's based on logic and financial structure. It has to be. So when we make an emotional decision in a personal life, like, oh my God, I really need that car. I want that car. That's the best car I want to have. But is it the best financial decision for you when you could get something cheaper, when you just need something to get you from point A to point B? And that's the problem I see with a lot of men and women coming out of the vocational program and getting back to work. Man, they got to get that car right away. They feel like they have to get it. But yet we help them get to and from work. We coordinate nonstop every day, getting people to and from work so they have a job. They're in their halfway house. They have access to get to and from work. I don't want them to struggle on that. Focus on you and yourself for the first 6 months and then think about a car. Don't rush into it. And it's funny because most of the time it's the ones that get the car super fast within the first couple months of getting out of prison, out of the program, and starting to work for us. The percentage of those people that screw up and we end up losing is a lot higher than not. So don't rush the process. Slow down And I think everything, if we take that concept and everything we do in life, slow down, think about everything you're doing, everything will start to change. You will see things in your life start to change for the better that you won't even realize that they're changing because it's just organically happening because you're taking your time to do it the right way. Take your time, do it the right way. Don't rush it. Think about each step of the way. And maybe it just takes time of maybe sitting down with a pen and paper. Grab a pad of paper, a pen, start writing some notes. Okay, I want to do this in my life. Here's the steps that I need to do. Here's my goals that I'm trying to reach in my life. I'm going to write it on paper so I can see it. I can envision it, not just think it. When you write something down on a piece of paper, it's a visual thing. And I think people are visual to where it's easier to understand that and look at it as a goal than if they're just thinking it through their head nonstop. When I'm thinking in my head, there's 1,000 thoughts going through my mind. You know, I heard the speaker last night at our vocational class. I had a guest come in, and he was talking about how you have 50,000 thoughts a day going through your mind. That's a lot. You don't even think about all the thoughts that you're thinking about. How many of those are negative? How many of those are rushed? If we slow down and start thinking about things and write it on paper and building a structure for ourselves. Okay, here's the deal. 6 months, just me and my job. Okay, after 6 months, then I'm going to start thinking about a vehicle. Then I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start focusing. But we tend to rush the process to where it's like, no, I got to have it now. This is what's going to help me get what I want faster. But knowing what I've seen through everybody that comes through my company, like I said, those are the ones that typically struggle a little more. I don't want you to feel like you've got to make up for lost time. That's impossible. You've lost those years. However many years you've been locked up, whatever you went through, that time is gone. You cannot change the past, but you can't rush the future. If you're rushing the future, that's where you make the mistakes. So slow down. And it's difficult for me because there's times where I see these men and women. It's like, I just want to reach into their head and just squeeze and shake them and knock some sense into them. And when I look at every single one that rushes their progress or they want to get things done faster, it's always based off emotions and feelings. It has nothing to do with logic. It's all the emotions and feelings like, I need this, I got to have this. It's just like when I say focus on you and yourself. Don't get in a relationship. Don't rush that. Slow that down. Because when you rush into that, that's typically where it drags you down. And the problem is you're still trying to fix yourself. You got to fix you before you can get in a relationship. And typically the relationships that start with the men and women coming out of the program is with somebody else from the program. And that's where guys get screwed up. That's how one of our last guys, he made it a week with me. That was it. Show up to the halfway house and he had a girl spend the night with him. And it turned out she was in my class from a month and a half ago. And it's like, here you are fixing you. Fix you first before you get into the next situation. You got to take care of you. You can't, if you're still fixing you, how are you going to help fix her? It doesn't work that way. Or vice versa. If you're in a relationship and you're fixing you, the guy's not going to change that for you females out there. You got to do the right thing and fix you first. If you can fix you, then everything will fall into place. And someone asked me the other day, why do you always say 6 months, John? What is it about the 6 month part? The 6 month part is what I've seen as far as the history of doing this with helping men and women come out of the program. The ones that make it past that 6 month part, their success rate is a lot higher than the others. It's the ones that jump into things too fast within that first 6 months. They're the ones that the percentage of the failure there is a lot higher. And it's tough to watch. It's hard to see. And I'm sorry, call me cold-hearted, whatever you want to. I have no sympathy, no mercy for them because they've been taught everything. They've been given the recipe. What I teach in class is a recipe. It's a recipe for success. It's a recipe on how to do it. It's how I did it. It's how I've gotten to where I'm at. And everybody wants success. They want that. They want to have the good life and everything. And they think they want it now, quick. It doesn't happen overnight. Where I'm at in my life, it didn't just happen yesterday. This has been many, many years in the making. Nothing happens overnight. I heard someone say recently that the best things are things that you have to wait for and they come in time, and it just happens organically. The things that you rush to make happen, they're never worth it, and they typically fail. So if we slow down and we take a look at what we want and what we need, there's a big difference. Your wants and your needs, two totally different things. Your wants are typically feeling based, emotional. Your needs are necessities, what you need to get through life. Focus on the needs that you need right now. Focus on that first. And then eventually, as you progress, as you make more money, then you can start thinking about the wants, the things that you want to do that make you feel good, that make you feel like you're getting successful. But that also doesn't mean that those first 6 months, when I tell these guys that, I don't want you to just coop yourself up in the house and don't do nothing and have no social life. You got to be able to do something. Go to the gym and work out. Go to AA meetings. Go hang out with a sober group. Do whatever you need to keep yourself preoccupied. It will be a lot easier, but you got to surround yourself with the right people. You can't just jump into this and say, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to hang out with the old friends, because the old friends are probably what got you in trouble to begin with. You got to find new friends. You got to find like-minded people. You got to kick everybody from the past to the curb to focus on what you need to do, because everybody you used to hang out with is just going to drag you down. Then you're stuck in that same vicious cycle. You got to make a change. You got to do something different to progress, to get further ahead. So I guess basically what I'm saying today is slow the fuck down. Take your time in everything that you do. Take your time in life in general, in work, in your progress. Don't rush the process. Everything will work out if you do it the right way. And everything will work out if you take your time and base your decisions off of logic and financial decisions, not the emotional decision, not the feelings, the wants. Not that there's anything wrong with feelings and wanting something, but you got to focus on what's best for you. And sometimes the decision you make right now, you're making the best decision you can with the information at hand or what you have at that moment. Now, 6 months, a year from now, 2 years, your decisions might change because your lifestyle's changed. What you have has changed. Your financial situation's changed. The car you buy today might not be the same type of car you buy 10 years from now. But 10 years from now, you're in a different financial bracket. You've worked your way up to that. So don't rush that process. How many guys come out and all of a sudden, man, they want that brand new truck, they want brand new house, they want this. Don't rush it. It will come in time. It happens. When you rush it, that's when everything falls apart. Guys, I'd like to thank you for joining me. If you like this, like and subscribe. I look forward to all your comments. It really does help me with content on this. Once again, stay hungry.